traditional industry be deprived of an armory museum to preserve the work of our ancestors that has made this town so well known the world over?
Eibar craftsmen have been making arms for more than 500 years, when at the turn of the 20th century, a group of local entrepreneurs saw the need to drive the industry forward into the future. With this aim, they concentrated their efforts on creating a centre for research and teaching, as well as an arms museum that would fulfil an educational role and reflect the advances made in the industry by manufacturers in Eibar. Thanks to the efforts of Fermín Calvetón, Public Works Minister, many of the aspirations of these Eibar notables came to fruition. This project, locally conceived and implemented, led to the opening of the Armoury School and the Arms Museum of the town of Eibar in 1914. The Arms Museum boasted a collection of some 580 pieces, among small arms and larger items, and 6 examples of steel weapons. These were all donated by local manufacturers, the firing range, the Ministry of War, as it was then known, and local citizens.
As well as arms, the museum contained the work of pupils, like drawings, and pieces like this one, things like that. They date from 1914 to 1916, made right here in the school.
The early years were the best, in terms of visiting and so on. There was a real atmosphere of an arms-producing town. The streets were full of carts and cannons, and revolvers were being pushed to and fro.
Thanks to the determination of Julián Echeverría, the collection was expanded with samples of arms produced in Eibar during the Great War. Unfortunately, these additions are not registered, as the collection was sacked before any record could be made. In 1936, a sample of the collection was sent to Paris for the International Arms Contest, but the outbreak of the Civil War prevented these arms from returning to their place of origin. Around 1960, following the aftermath of the war and the years of reconstruction, the Armory School was expanded. It was at this point that José Ormachea, the director of the school, took the decision to reorganize what was left of the collection. To this end, he set up a commission made up of former arms manufacturers to oversee the rehabilitation of the collection. Initially, letters were sent to various regiments and artillery bases in an attempt to gather old-fashioned arms. The collection grew with the addition of new display cabinets with arms that had previously been withdrawn from view, and photographs of antique weapons were added. The arms that had been sent to Paris in 1936 were recovered, thanks to José Uría. Around 1962, a second quest for arms was undertaken. On the one hand, letters were addressed to the main armories in Spain, while on the other, the Commission contacted various heads of state with a request for arms from abroad. Their efforts soon bore fruit, as donations in the form of small and large arms started to come in from local companies, as well as noteworthy pieces from abroad. After these 4 years of intense activity, the museum was in an excellent state of affairs. Proof of this was the second catalogue, published in 1964. This catalogue, as well as containing a thorough inventory and description of the collection, featured various articles related to the arms on display. In 1984, with a view to relaunching the museum, a third catalogue was edited with the help of arms experts Juan Luis Calvo and Ramiro Larrañaga, prologue by Juan San Martin, and photographs by Antonio Aguirre Sarobe.
And also, this last catalogue was done following a method that was still unknown here. The description is better than the photograph itself.
Despite the improvements over the years, one of the main aims had still not been achieved, namely that of a permanent museum open to the public.
Visits did used to happen, but as far as I remember, it was people who phoned in advance, or people who came to visit this school and were shown the museum at the same time. Not many people came to see the museum alone. Maybe some experts, but not many used to come.
I always thought that the museum should be housed in a place with public access, so that people could see how things used to be done and that.
In the year 2000, the Armory School donated the whole of the arms legacy in its possession to the council so that it could be exhibited in the museum on a permanent basis.
This donation gave rise to the exhibition Armia na Nimia, held in the exhibition room of Portalea in December 2000. This collection, which is being constantly revised and expanded, currently has approximately 500 pieces, the oldest of which dates back to the 16th century. The weapons come from Eibar and from abroad. Almost a century after its conception, thanks to the Eibar Arms Industry Museum, this collection will at long last have the kind of exhibition space it deserves in Portalea, the former arms factory Aguirre Aranzabal, a municipal museum that will allow us to discover, to learn about, and above all to marvel at the important part of the history of this area.